André, the eighth wonder. First, I don't know. My parents are 5 feet 2 inches and 6 feet 2 inches, thus I'm tall. Not simply a dude, they said. He was huge. André the Giant was taller and hit harder. Oh, he didn't need to say much with dinner plate hands and a room-silent glare. One André slam could terminate a match. One bad move might kill a friendship. Despite his gentleness, André was polite outside the ring but didn't tolerate rubbish. Respect was everything to him. When someone insulted, crossed the line, or irritated him, nice giant turned cruel. Before dying, André the Giant disclosed 6 wrestlers who crossed him wrong. Huge John. André the Giant was more than large. He was huge. An impressive 7 feet 4 inches in height and 500+ pounds. A walking legend, his name still lives on. Echoes across wrestling history. André was more than a wrestler. He was amazing. But beyond his calm, kind grin lay a man who didn't tolerate squared circle fools. He hated some wrestlers. One of his most intense WWE rivalries was with a man who aggressively claimed to be Big John Studd, the wrestling behemoth. Their conflict wasn't staged tension. Mutual dislike was real. So how did it start? Studd arrived in 1982, a villainous and cocky WWF character. He brought a stretcher to the ring and battered opponents so badly they had to be carted out. It wasn't simply character. A declaration of war. Studd claimed he inspired André by slamming and daring anyone to try for $10,000. Chaos ensued after André accepted the challenge. Studd, with him manager, classy Freddie Blassie, used every filthy means to escape criticism. They gripped the ropes, hindering Blassie, and fouling everywhere. But it didn't satisfy André. One famous match saw André slam Studd so hard enough to collapse the ring. That was just the beginning. The conflict worsened in 1984 when Studd joined forces with Cunning Bobby, the both Brainheen and Kin Pata are heels. They ambushed André when tag match, brutally beating him and ripping off his hair in front of a startled crowd. Now this feud was about more than dominance. It became private and fast. The first WrestleMania saw their grudge match reach feverish. The stakes were high. Inability to slam Studd would make André retired by force. André faced a raucous Madison Square Garden crowd, lifted Studd like a grain bag and smashed him at exactly 554, thrilling the audience and winning $10,000. But Studd didn't stop provoking the Giant. He then paired up with $468, LB King Kong Bundy, and they relentlessly pursued André. They assaulted him constantly, hurting André's sternum. During a violent Toronto double assault, André was nursing injuries, so Studd and Bundy ruled. Tag team division, ridiculing him everywhere. To his nature, André refused to yield. His babyface allies included Hulk Hogan and Junkyard Dog to balance. Their rivalry reached WrestleMania 2 in an outrageous 20-man battle royal, including NFL players and wrestler stars too. André was the ringmaster. Studd crazed over dismissing football players, defeating Super Bowl champion William the Refrigerator Perry, only for Perry to entice Studd into a handshake and throw him out as great retribution. Ultimately, André got the win. But André's health was deteriorating. Affected by his body began to reveal gigantism and acromegaly. The WWF found unique method to engage him. André returns to the ring disguised as Gigantic Machine, joining Big and Super Machine in a strange tag. This team confused fans and irritated Studd and Bundy. Manager Heen started full-scale campaign to reveal the robots and André, but always failed. The trick was though silly, it was great. Studd couldn't prove anything. André existed everywhere and nowhere. Backstage, tension was just as high. André was reportedly annoyed with Studd's arrogance and refusal to sell wrestlers' moves. Disrespected, Studd was clearly outmatched by Ted Arsai in 1986. Stiff and resistant, thinking Arcidi was a gym physique without wrestling skills. André, who believed technique was more important than muscle, and his patience with Studd wore thin. Studd and Bundy's alliance deteriorated by late 1986. Both argued in the ring after losing to the British Bulldogs, taunting a quarrel that ended. Studd's last WWF match was later that year. Studd's shadow lingered after he left the ring. An unexpected twist before André faced Hulk Hogan at WrestleMania 3, Studd publicly defended André, saying Hogan had twisted their connection. Evade him. Stud suddenly retired. With that, giant rivalry ceased. André the Giant had many memorable moments. Famous matches. His feud with Big John Studd was unique. It was more rather than plot. It was intense between two huge dudes. An ego war for dominance and identity. The next who André the Giant loathed will surprise you. Bad News Brown. Bad News Brown. André's rivalry is surely memorable. André's dislike Brown was so passionate that André supposedly threw up on him during a battle. How did this happen? B. Keep watching to find out. Respect matters in pro wrestling. And if you disrespect Bad News Brown, especially racially, you'll pay. That's right. Brown and André the Giant shared a locker room during a contentious New Japan Pro Wrestling tour. Nearly fought. It started on a Japanese bus. Brown overheard André making derogatory remarks from the bus back. Don Callis says Brown's mentee and lifelong friend. The statements hurt, and Brown wasn't going to slide it. In 2015, Jericho spoke. Callis thought of Brown. André was told, "Keep that asterisk to yourself." Retaliated with an asterisk F. Then things escalated. Brown, no bluffer, simply pulled he took earrings from his purse. Callis stated Hulk was nearby. Dove for cover thinking Brown was going for a pistol. Brown surged to front of the bus and told the driver to stop. He wanted André off the bus. André didn't move when ready to throw hands. Finally, the ride continued. Peaceful but tense. The next day, Brown confronted André in the hotel lobby. Again, now he directly challenged the mammoth to combat. André tried. He said, "Don't worry about it," and stated he was teased for being Polish. Brown didn't care. "I don't want to hear that again," he said. Later, Brown told Callis that André would have murdered him in a shootout, but he spoke up. He had to be principled. Their troubled past continued. Many years later, in a final insult, André supposedly defecated in the ring during a match that whacked Brown with his renowned butt bump. Anyway, Bad News Brown never forgave him since respect wasn't important. Despite their size, giants had to answer for violating the limit of decency. Kamala. Bigness in wrestling doesn't always mean friendship. You would assume industrial heavyweights would bond over uncomfortable planes, sore joints, and big boots. More often than not, huge heat instead. A modest but deadly conflict between men who know only one monster fits on top. That happened with André, Giant, and Kamala, two titans who were not pals. Early days. Kamala built while the scary Ugandan Giant ran free. Ringside barefoot savage. Of course, Jerry created the gimmick. Lawler to frighten. Even beyond the ring, Kamala wasn't special. To cross. He was 6 feet 7 inches and over 350 pounds. Calm, but a short fuse when mistreated. As of 1983, escalated. The Mid-South Wrestling match pitted Kamala against André the Giant. On a dream match on paper. Titans competing for supremacy. But behind the scenes turned into a nightmare. Their first match flopped. A backstage tempers flared due to ring miscommunication. André is blunt and sometimes belittled Kamala as a foolish asterisk. It was enough. Kamala swung hard. Several punches broke André's lip. But the heat continued. The next night, Kamala wasn't just ready. Wrestle. He was angry and disrespected and came strapped. He brought a .357 Magnum locker room. When André entered, Kamala pulled the gun. On him. His playing days were over. With shock and fear, André promptly apologized. After that, their relationship changed. Kamala claims André never disrespected him again. Indeed, they worked several WWE matches together, usually on tour. Ironically, André helped Kamala obtain a WWF shot. Kamala still distrusted nature. Kamala always had it. Gun while working with André. In a 2014 interview, Kamala confessed carrying the gun. In the ring, early tension was strong, but they got along professionally. It was common. In the earning respect in the huge world. Sometimes with dread, sometimes fists. Over time, Kamala wrestled Hulk Hogan, Ted DiBiase, and Mick Foley, among others, who later called him pleasant, humble, and easy to deal with. But behind that serene visage was a business-burned man. His first WWF's 1984 run was brief. He returned in 1986 and stayed till 1987 and briefly returned in 1992. What stayed shoving him out? Money. Kamala often enhanced other stars. He saw little as others cashed huge checks. In his own words, my main event opponents made 50 times more than me. He felt deceived, used for his image, underpaid. Worse, in the locker room, he was sometimes asked to leave by agents. If bigger stars needed it, it was a cold reminder of his rank. Despite his height and force, Kamala's life changed after quitting in 2010. Darker, diabetes, double leg, and other health issues plagued him. Amputations and COVID-19 complications led to death. He died of cardiac arrest in 2020, yet he left a legacy, one of wrestling's most memorable personas. He defended himself by pulling a revolver on one of legendary wrestlers in a world of giants trampled each other to advance. Kamala earned his respect. A dispute between André the Giant and the Ultimate Warrior had happened in the ring when Warrior was rising in WWE. His energy and look made him look pre-Goldberg, secretive, jacked, and intense. He was a star but struggled with talking and wrestling. Worse, he was known for extended promos and poor in-ring skills. Working stiff, meaning his punches, clotheslines, and motions hit forcefully, regardless of opponent. Warrior rarely he was reckless. Rick Rude reportedly beat wrestlers. André the Giant humbled warriors like no one else backstage. But André was in poor health and could scarcely move. Still popular in WWE. Therefore, he helped promote rising performers like the House Intel I used showed pitted Warrior against André 48. Warrior won rapidly to look good in each bout. Strong, with major maneuvers like a stiff clothesline that always rocked André. André warned, he said, "Tone it down." But Warrior kept blasting him. One night, André had enough of the powerful lariat. Came coming full speed for the clothesline spot. André didn't move. He raised his enormous hand. It knocked Warrior out cold. André didn't even notice. He left Warrior lying there and exited the ring without pinning him. The next night, Warrior changed. Bobby Heenan saw the same action, but a gentle clothesline. It says André smiled after the match. Warrior was extra polite of André backstage. Jacques was kind, giving André gifts and admiring him. Rougeau the Mounted corroborated this years later, saying Warrior was generally Warrior never confronted André, who was self-centered and offended many wrestlers. Fearful, Rougeau told Jim Ross's podcast, he never pulled that nasty man. Behave around André. Warrior tried to rework the story years later. He said André liked him and valued his work ethic. Since they wrestled dozens of times, Warrior thought André wouldn't work with someone he disliked. Claimed the Giant liked him, but the lariat incident, one of the most hyped, really happened. About wrestling backstage lessons. It revealed how André, despite his health, was respected. André didn't yell or fight, according to Hulk, Hogan, and others. But if a wrestler got too confident, especially in the ring, André made sure they learned the hard way. Path to the Iron Shake and Ultimate Warrior. After that punch, Warrior was still a rising star, but less reckless, especially after André the Giant and Hulk Hogan were pals. Early days, therefore the relationship's rapid decline was surprising. One of the greatest professional wrestling rivalry is Hulk Hogan versus André. This rivalry enthralled wrestling fans worldwide. Also helped make the sport a global spectacle through conflicts, alliances, betrayals, and unforgettable moments. A true saga still discussed. Decades later, Hogan and André fought several times before becoming famous. Minor wrestling circuits in 1978 and 1979, Hogan encountered André 5 times as Terry Boulder in Southwest Championship Wrestling's early highlights include a furious 1979 Alabama arm wrestling contest that ended in mayhem when Hogan overturned the table and his management intervened, leaving the match unfinished. Hogan joined the in 1979 WWF, now WWE. André was a 6-year corporate veteran during their first WWF 1980 bouts featured André as the crowd favorite and Hogan as the player. André won most of their 16 matches that year. The drama increased as many finished without a winner. Events like Shea Showdown in New York and contests in Pennsylvania, Hogan body-slammed André, a move that became legendary. André generally won. Hogan was more prominent during this time. Aggressive, he attacked André with brass knuckles in one match, bleeding him. André won this early rivalry despite shady tactics. Was intense, but set the stage for the epic feud. By 1981, Hogan left WWF for other options, including an involvement in Rocky III and AWA, Jinanan. Sometimes André wrestled there. Interestingly, Hogan and André were companions from 1981 to 1983, despite their antagonism. Meet Nick Bockwinkel and Bobby the Brain, Hunan's renowned family. In 1984, Hogan returned to WWF, where his tag team dominated top opponents. Hogan's biggest achievement that year was winning the WWF World Heavyweight Championship. From Iron Sheik and André celebrated with him. They even teamed up in tag bouts, defeating large teams and maintaining their friendship. In 1987, wrestling friendships were fragile due to championships and pride. Dramatically changed when André returned WWF and tensions rose. Developed as mutual respect cooled on Piper Pit. Renowned wrestling discussion show, André startled everyone by appearing with Bobby Heenan, Hogan's longtime nemesis. They accused Hogan of using their friendship to avoid defending his championship. Fans were astonished when André ripped off Hogan's shirt and crucifix chain, causing him to bleed. A physical and symbolic betrayal set the stage for their greatest confrontation. Series of heated encounters. Hogan was asked directly if he will meet André at WrestleMania 3. Strongly agreed. Their broken friendship was a significant issue, creating an emotional and thrilling match at WrestleMania 3. 1987 is one of the most memorable wrestling tournaments due to André, a 525-pound monster, fought Hogan. Though in pain, he was a powerful opponent. The crowd was electrified when Hogan body-slammed André in front of them. Over 93,000 fans at the Pontiac Silverdome witnessed this moment. Hogan signed off after the global body slam. Running leg drop to win and retain WWF World Heavyweight Title Championship. But Hogan had never slammed André before. They had done so many times, but the spectacle of the moment and size disparity made it memorable after WrestleMania 3. The battle continued until André took a break in 1987. 1988 saw André and Hogan in increasingly spectacular stories. Inspired by André believe he was robbed out of his partnership with Bobby Heenan and Hogan's title defense. Title when Hogan body slammed him in a dubious referee's count. Prompting calls for further fan excitement came from probes and rematches. Led opposing teams at the 1987 Survivor Series. Other wrestlers interrupted their match, causing pandemonium, but maintaining André was the only survivor, pinning Bam Bam Bigelow, making Hogan furious. Their animosity peaked in the 1988 main event. André stunned the world on NBC by beating Hogan to win the WWF World Heavyweight Championship, but victory was controversial. Referee was distracted. Missing André gave the championship to Hogan immediately after the match. Billionaire Ted DiBiase, but WWF President Jack Tunney declared the identical brother impersonated the referee, invalidating the transaction and revoking the title. Officiate the bout, adding drama. WWF staged a 14-wrestler tournament to resolve championship confusion. At WrestleMania 4, Hogan and André were bought to fight. In the quarterfinals, they were double disqualified, leaving Randy Macho the title shot. Man Savage to win. Hogan rested after WrestleMania 4. They focused on acting and reduced their competition with André. Their enmity occasionally ceased. Hogan interest the André feud returned in June 1988 with a steel cage battle at Hogan 1 WrestleFest again. Their rivalry, laced with memorable moments, amazing matches, and dramatic twists defined professional wrestling. This helped WWF gain widespread recognition and solidified both men as legends. The Hogan-André feud went beyond wrestling. Legendary tale of giants and friendship turned rivalry in a ring battling physically and emotionally. Their contest showed fans loyalty, betrayal, fight, and victory, not simply the moves or size. Difference that attracted attention, but the emotional drama that emerged amid physical warfare. Their rivalry is remembered for their athleticism, but also for the storyline that elevated professional wrestling. Hogan Bodas slams André represents the underdog's victory and drama. Makes wrestling so popular. Randy Savage, André the Giant to many WWE fans. Giant is a legend. Over 2 decades, he was a big wrestling draw and pop culture phenomenon. Many fans loved him for his part in The Princess Bride. Although his peers appreciated him, he didn't get along with everyone. André liked almost everyone he worked with, but some wrestlers he couldn't like. Stand. Two of the biggest names on the short list were WWE Hall of Famers. Famers, Macho Man, Randy Savage, and Ultimate Warrior. Warrior were WWE superstars and WWE Championship holders. Headlined WrestleMania. As predicted, they met André. André's wrestling career began early. He was over 6 feet tall when he started wrestling professionally in the early 1960s. France, Japan, and later became a major star in Montreal, Canada. He joined WWE in 1973 and became a star. Company's main draws. His bulk alone generated crowds. André was one of WWE's biggest stars in the 1970s and 80s. Biggest stars, selling out Madison Square Garden repeatedly. Again, his greatest moment was facing Hulk Hogan in WrestleMania 3. The Pontiac Silverdome held 93,173 fans. Became a villain for that bout and feuded with top baby faces for years, including Savage and Warrior. André has his pet peeves. Baby oil was the biggest. Wrestlers used it to sparkle under the lights. Lighting, but André despised it, and Randy wore the most baby oil. Lanny Pow, Savage's brother, said the situation grew personal. Said the Tampa Bay Times, André hated baby oil. Randy persisted. He insisted, André's gimmick is being huge, mine is baby oil. He never backed down from André, thus they never got along. Not just the baby oil disturbed André. His daughter Robin did too. Kristen Rousemoff mentioned another reason her father loathed her at a New York Comic-Con panel. She added André had no tolerance for steroid users. He thought Savage did. So while André was most people's gentle giant, his connections with Randy Savage and the Ultimate Warrior were strained over oil, steroids. André wasn't shy about criticizing behavior. With his stature and presence, that was never taken lightly. Which conflict do you prefer? The worst? Comment below. Click the following video on to like, share, and subscribe. Enjoy it on your screen.